Hello, thanks for watching this Shadow Warrior video. I'm Regdren, and along with me in the chat is Casey Scragg. Sadly, this is going to be his last co-commentating video because real life has been kind of pinched for time for him, so he needs to work on some pretty important things.
Yeah, unfortunately my classes are really occupying a lot of my time and work, and I don't think I have time to do this and do it as often as I need to.
I really appreciate that you've helped me out for the shareware levels, and you kind of got me going on the project too. There were some big improvements because of your help.
Thank you. I'm glad I could help at least a little bit.
Right. So, you noticed that I started out the video by trying out the grenade launcher as a melee weapon. I haven't quite worked out the bugs yet.
Yeah, something tells me it might not be the best thing to...
Lies! I'll make it work! So this level, definitely the longest of the shareware levels, and I'd say longest in the game. No real contest. And the amount of work that was put into this level was amazing. I mean, there's the shrine, of course, but there's going to be a lot of other different environments later on. They really made this level an impressive piece of work. Mm-hmm. Of course, they probably did that so that more people would want to buy the game and see what the rest of the levels had to offer.
Of course.
But, you know, we still get a really good level out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, it's easier to deal with if you're not recording and can save in the middle.
Like me, when I played through this level.
Oh, well, yeah, pretty much everyone would do that, because it's the sort of thing that makes sense. It's the rational thing to do.
Yeah, it's really hard to go through without saving.
Yeah, now...
That's sort of the point of this video, isn't it?
Of course, now to avoid taking damage on the way down, it's best to grab the ladder.
Yeah.
The ladder's kinda... It works kind of weird in this game, so I find that jumping off the opposite ledge is the way to go.
Which is a little strange. I every time I did it, I would try, of course, the classic way where I'm just falling down, and it's very awkward because you have to like
I think
move
Glowwang
forward.
is scared of this ladder. If you don't believe me, well, take a look at this. So calm down there. I mean, if you actually hit the ground, you'd take something like 5 damage. So we're entering the first scene transition here, so to speak. And this is kind of a memorable thing for everyone who's, or at least most people who've played through the shareware levels. The Dark Woods. We know that because of the signs. And they actually made this pretty nasty because there's a lot of rippers and not a whole lot of ammo to deal with them.
No. Well, of course, unless you've got your stuff from the last level, then that would help some.
Yeah, but that's silly.
Exactly. Can't do that.
So, I was thinking of last time when I was facing rippers on lower ground and I tried to blow them up, but it just didn't work. So I'm going to try to do a better job this time.
There you go. Looks like you dropped a heart.
The main thing I did was wait for them to bunch up, so even if one or two of them scattered, I would hit at least one of them.
Mm-hmm.
And that is going to save me on some shotgun ammo, too. Although...
This bee...
Hornets are more evil.
True.
Just look up Hornets versus Bees on YouTube sometime. If that sort of thing will give you nightmares.
Oh, does it have that thing with the Japanese hornets against the European honeybees?
I think there's more than one kind of that kind of video.
Really?
Hornets going after beehives is not an isolated thing.
Oh, I didn't know that was a... I didn't know that was a common occurrence in real life.
Now, that little door, crack in the wall thing was really tricky for me to open because I didn't want to use a rocket on it, but I also didn't want to blow myself up with a sticky bomb.
Yeah, gotta be careful.
Yeah. And I think that, speaking of being careful, those Caltrops dealt a lot of damage. Had to use up pretty much all my medkit to deal with them. By the way, I really like the touch of that switch turning off the fire behind those sort of face masks so that they don't shoot fireballs at you.
That's always nice.
Yeah, but I mean that they could have just had the switch deactivated, but they also added the touch of that fire going out. And I also like that traps in this game are never really disarmed the same way twice. I mean, we've only ran into traps a couple of times here, but I'm going to try to point them out as we encounter them later on.
Oh, you can pick them up like that. I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah, well, it's a little bit of trivia. I say that because it's kind of trivial. You're not going to win or lose depending on whether or not you recovered your shuriken.
Yeah. It's not quite that big a deal, but even still, I wish I knew that before.
Tell me a bit about your experience going through this. I mean, I know it's a long level, but
I hated this part. This little bit of woods here, and trying to get through the buildings. Yeah, the village. I got lost so many times wandering through here.
Oh yeah, it's a little tricky. It's not immediately obvious that you have to progress by jumping into the well.
Yeah, and so it took me some time. The first time I played through it.
Yeah, in fact, there are a lot of Shadow Warrior levels where it's not obvious what you have to do to advance, so if you're not looking at a guide, you can end up wandering a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure that, well, at least one of the reasons it's done that way is so that when you do sort of solve the puzzle, there's this great aha moment, and you feel good about getting through it.
Yeah. And that's always nice.
Yeah. But I suspect that a lot of players just want to get to the next fight, so it might be just kind of frustrating.
I get it is a little rewarding, but
yeah, it is. I guess the get me to the next fight is more of a Serious Sam mentality. But I think that the most commonly recurring enemy in this level would be those coolie ghosts. I mean, they're all over the place.
They're very annoying to fight, too.
Oh, yeah.
They just keep disappearing.
And I know I say, oh yeah, a lot, bear with me. If I tried to just use the dual Uzis on all of them, I'd run out of ammo, so I use the riot gun most of the time.
Yeah, it's unfortunate you have to use the riot gun on so many guys, though.
Well, yeah. You get a fair amount of ammo per pickup.
That is
the first time I played through, auto-aim was on, so I had a much easier time killing all the ghosts with 2 shots.
Yeah. Not in this case, though.
No. I mean, auto-aim, it's very nice for some situations, but after playing without it for a while, I can't really go back. There's just a certain amount of freedom that free aim gives you, and I can't really go without that anymore. Not in this game.
Mm-hmm. Personally, that little button thing is just one of the weirdest parts of the game for me. It's just, it moves the little thing across the floor.
Oh yeah, it moves that sort of water box or something. And there's not even any rails, there's no sound when it moves.
It just slides over there. It's like, yep, this needs to go here so you can get the key.
Yeah, kind of creepy, which was probably the point. Now this is kind of brutal. It took me a few tries to figure out how to get through here without dying. And one of the main problems is there's a whole lot of rocket launcher thugs mixed in with the standard ones. So the brown ones can get in the way of your rocket launcher if you're not careful.
Whoa.
And of course you'll have to dodge some rockets like I just did. Which is why the Ripper Heart came in really handy right there.
Mm-hmm.
I I mean, for wide open, dangerous rooms, the Ripper Heart is really useful. And there's more things to watch out just ahead. Like, for example, there's a Shadow Ninja right there.
Yeah. Oh, be careful. Oh.
And a couple playthroughs ago, I would have just shot it while standing still, like a true noob, and probably gotten nuked down by that wall of fire. But the thing that can catch you off guard here is, in that arch forward and to the right, there's actually another Shadow Ninja. And since it's sort of in the shadow of the arch, it's not easy to pick up on that.
Nope, until you run into it.
Also, this level is, if you're playing it the way I do, kind of tight on ammo. Like that missile pickup that I came across, that's going to be a really big help. Before I discovered that, it was kind of a matter of whether I got a random drop. Which, I refuse to believe that was required, because my impression was that the game was better designed than that.
Oh, those bees.
Yeah, whenever I hear them, I just kind of feel like, I'm gonna have to
deal with them again.
Deal with them. That's probably the one time that I wish I had kept auto-aim on. Because they're really designed with auto-aim in mind, I think.
Well, yeah, I'd agree.
And this is another... That door with the barrel behind it, that's another thing that could keep you wandering around for a while. Because that's the sort of thing that's usually reserved for secrets.
Yeah, that did get me wandering around the first time I played it, I remember.
Yeah. Now, the reason I'm throwing grenades in there is mostly to get rid of the Hornets. I mean, the rocket launcher guy is kind of important too, but...
I can't believe those both missed.
They actually didn't miss. I got some of the splash damage. Okay. That's why just a couple of Uzi bullets did him in.
Okay. Yeah, at least he got some of the splash damage. Jeez, these freaking Hornets!
Yeah. You don't actually punch as fast as the animation makes it look, which is why the Hornets can sometimes just sort of dash in and hit you without your punch landing on it.
Oh, they're so annoying to deal with.
Yeah, moments like that made me, with all those Kuligos, that made me wish I had the railgun, which won't be available in the first 4 episodes. They're leaving something for the main game, I guess. But you noticed how, when I used the Ripper Heart, the clone was using a railgun?
Yeah, I noticed. I was like, oh,
yeah,
that's cool.
Sort of a sneak peek for that weapon, if you're clever enough to use the Ripper Hearts.
Ah.
Of course, that may make the railgun look better than it actually is, because the clone can fire them much more rapidly than you can. Of course, that makes the clone really awesome. I think...
Gosh, so many of the Kuligos.
I think the Ripper Heart, the nuke, and the smoke bomb are the main ways to clear out a difficult room without putting yourself at too much risk.
I'd agree, yeah.
This is relative, of course. When firing a nuke, you are going to put yourself at some risk. There's no real getting around that.
And then grenade launchers are for little tighter spaces.
Yeah. I think that's why just firing a nuke at all is an achievement on Steam. But we're getting close to a part that's really fun.
Mm-hmm.
But before that, I want to grab some Uzi ammo, I think. It looks like there might be something to that place, since it has a sign and everything, like there's supposed to be a secret. But no, not really.
Yeah, I the first time I tried to play through this, I just I went in that room and I just played with the rabbits for a while. It's oh yeah,
Hooray!
a tank.
I think the way it went was the designers created a system that allowed you to drive vehicles, and one of them said, "Okay, we've got to have a tank. we can't allow you to drive vehicles and not have a tank."
Exactly, it'd be an injustice. Oh. Ugh.
This is also a great place to learn where all the one-liners for blowing enemies up are. As well as another place where it's not obvious what you have to do to progress, because there really isn't much of a clue that that particular wall can be blown up.
No, that's the big thing that got me trapped with the rabbits. So I thought I had to do that to advance. Because I shot at the wall a few times and it didn't blow up immediately. So I was like, oh, well.
Well, good news for the rabbits. That they had a good time.
Yeah. Tearing each other apart, too.
That's one way of saying it, yes.
Well, no, eventually if you keep doing it, they'll just, like, kill each other.
Oh, I didn't know that. Dang.
Yeah, they'll... it's very weird. Their heads start flying everywhere.
Well,
violent rabbits.
Thanks to you, I learned something about the rabbits that I did not previously know. Wow.
I'm sure it'll be very useful to you.
This next sequence is...
Oh gosh.
After I deal with these rockets and almost die. But the portal to the next part of the level, that's something they could have easily made into a transition between levels, but they didn't, and I respect the reasons why. For it to get the kind of feel that they were obviously aiming for, they'd have to have rippers all over the place from the word go, pretty much. And if they were going to plan to have each level capable of being started from scratch, they couldn't really do it that way.
Yeah.
So the only real option is to make it the next part of the current level.
Unfortunately, this makes for a very long level, though. But
yeah, and it was probably a lot more work on their part, too.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, even the game can almost not quite handle it. My frame rate is going down as I advance through the level. And it's not because my computer is bad, believe me. I think it's just the game having trouble handling it.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, I forgot to mention, Hornets can see you when you're invisible.
Oh.
That's why I kept taking damage there. There were a bunch of Hornets there, and they're going after me the moment I walked in.
Man.
Well, the Rippers lasted longer than my smoke bomb did.
Unfortunate.
But at least I got rid of all the extraordinarily nasty stuff.
Oh, those Hornets, those rocket guys.
So how'd you handle this place?
Oh, I just, I did not think to use invisibility, smoke bomb, so I died a few times here.
Okay, was there a particular weapon that you favored?
Well, for the Hornets, I just used the... Actually, I don't really remember. I think I used the Uzi and the riot gun like you're doing right... Well, like you were doing.
Yeah. There's a whole bunch of Rippers up there, so I figure I might as well deal with them this way.
Good idea. I wish I had thought of that, too.
So, while that's clearing up, I'm gonna go for a little dive. And this is one of the more famous secrets, I'd say the most famous secret of the shareware levels. The reason being what you see when you get to the other side. Movie fans rejoice. That's a pretty tough rabbit. Took a couple of shotgun shells and still kept coming.
I never knew about this. That's cool.
I just blew up the Holy Grail. What's wrong with me?
Oh, no.
Oh wait, fortune cookies. Totally worth it.
Exactly. Yep, moving on.
So I think the fallout is cleared out by now. I don't know what those environmentalists are talking about. This is easy.
Exactly. These nukes are realistic. Oof.
I think it's kind of weird that Shadow Warrior has nuclear warheads, but Duke Nukem 3D does not.
That is true. Good point. That would be... Why didn't they include that in Duke Nukem? That's a good question.
Probably hadn't figured out the details for it yet. And I could just advance and ignore this guy.
But he's
but
annoying.
I just kind of like clearing out the maps. So we're coming up on one of your favorite parts of the game.
The carpet ride. Oh god.
Yep. I'm gonna need that. So tell me about your experiences with the carpet ride.
Not the most fun thing in the world in terms of staying alive. I died quite a lot.
So when you did survive, how did you pull it off?
Plenty of saving. Yeah.
Very traditional way to get through a game. I salute you.
Thank you.
Follow the path of so many players before you. So, if you haven't played this game, you've probably surmised from what we said that this carpet ride is very unfriendly. It starts out nice enough.
They're just dropping down here. Yep, everything seems calm and friendly and great, and then...
Yeah, but then it'll carry you through a gauntlet of a whole bunch of guys shooting at you. So I just jump off and take those guys out from a distance.
I didn't think that you could survive on this stuff for some reason.
Well, the red liquid-like stuff will kill you, of course, but just the rock is okay.
Okay. I wish I knew this. That would have been useful. Yeah.
Man, you gotta try to experiment more with this sort of thing.
I guess so.
It is not the most intuitive thing, though. I mean, the reflex of most players would probably be to just stay on the carpet ride because they think it might not come back, or that would be lethal to jump off. And in pretty much any difficulty except no pain, no gain, you could probably get away with doing that if you're quick enough with your weapons. And we're coming up on the second most famous secret. I don't think it even counts as a secret, actually. It's just, these games love their cameos. There were plenty in Duke Nukem 3D, and there are fewer, but at least a couple in Blood. Now, this part, I admit it, the wait for the next carpet is a little boring, but it's in the name of survival. I hope you all understand. Lo Wang said, "Who's flying this thing anyway?" And considering where the carpet goes, my guess would be not a friend. Aside from taking you through that gauntlet of machine gunners, let's take a look at what it passes over next.
Ooh, yeah.
It's a good thing that Lo Wang is too tough for convection.
And up we go.
Now, I know I told you that this level was kind of long, but was there some point where you expected the level would be over and it just kept going?
Yeah, I thought the level would be over, honestly, when I initially played it. When we were going through the portal to River Valley. And then I thought it would be over close to the end of the carpet ride. It wasn't.
Nope. Right, last time I failed with a grenade launcher, but not this time. And this is actually kind of tricky because the carpet still continually goes around and passes through, so it can push you off the edge and into that ripper nest. And they're all big rippers, so they don't get killed easily. Finally. I should have kept track of how many grenades that took.
Keep a counter going. Yep.
And this part...
And the first time I went through that, I got myself killed by going to the end on the carpet. Figured I'd let you know that.
Okay, well...
It kills you.
I don't think you're alone in this. And this particular puzzle, this one gave me, in particular, a lot of headaches, because since I'm recording this, it's good form to complete the whole level in one go. Reason that's kind of a problem? Now, you create your own jump path through this puzzle, and there's not a whole lot of room for error here. So it's, of course, really easy to fall and have to start over again. That was fun!
Yeah, I bet
Now,
that
I know
was.
you saved, so like a rational person would, but just try to imagine the feeling of getting through to this part and then falling down.
And then having to reset every time. Ugh.
That's why I decided to bend my ethics a bit, and when the jump looked like I might not quite make it, I would cheat a little bit and use the diagonal jump. I figured people would understand, and I really hope you do. Do I need to explain the diagonal jump?
No, well, it's where you move forward and in a certain left or right direction, full speed, and
Yeah.
it'll move you faster because of the way vectors work.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So you explained it for me. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. Anytime.
I'm sure the viewers will thank you as well.
There we go.
And this is where I decided to didn't want to fall, went the cheesy way.
The cheesy way.
I mean, this is the jump where you mentioned you had some trouble too, right?
Oh, I hated this thing. My timing was so terrible. It was mainly because I had it so close to being perfect.
Pro tip, better to press the spacebar too early than too late. Another fun thing about this particular platform, it doesn't actually extend to the far wall. You can jump too far and fall to your death. Don't ask me how I know this.
I won't.
Thank you. And this is another fun thing. It tries to make you back up too much.
That's what we call a good design.
Yeah, sort of keeps you on your toes. Tries to knock you off your toes.
Oh yeah.
This keeps up with the 2-game-long build tradition of a boss at the end of the shareware. Standing right next to that thing is about as hazardous as you'd probably expect it to be. But the arena is actually rather friendly. It can't fight you very well when you go up on that higher platform. And it's pretty easy to avoid the lava. So I think that most players will find this to be reasonably easy.
As far as
this
bosses go.
Cliffhanger! Buy the full game! And that's the end. Thanks for watching.
See you later. Bye.
Why are those things called rippers, anyway? Oh, no reason.